What's going on, Juneteenth family?
I have to take the lead because if I don't now, when will I do it?
These are all dance groups, mixes from since 90.
And risks are important. Risk creates results.
Make sure that you surround yourself with not only the word, but with positivity.
Foremost, for having me on for Lunch and Learn.
We start off by wearing all of the hats. Pun intended right there on the hats.
But we start
special needs children and civilians.
I have over 30 years plus experience as a quality professional.
We basically reconstructing what we took part in deconstruct. All of street maintenance. That's how we came up with street maintenance.
I almost had to deal with MCA records at the age of 19.
Wait a minute. I also partner with other daycare. We're not in a competition yet. We're not in a competition.
What's going on, Juneteenth family? Welcome to another episode of the Lunch and Learn session. I am your host, Kiara, aka MBG. And as always, we got a special guest in the house today. Who am I talking about? It is my honor to introduce to you this brother with great energy, Mr. Wacinque Amistad, Kaizen, BeMende. I hope I'm saying that last name correctly because he is a trailblazer in the world of financial entrepreneurship and empowerment. As the CEO of Wealth Builders, Inc., Wacinque's journey began as an intern at America's oldest financial planning institution, which is now Ameriprise Financial Services. There, he began to hone his skills on banking and finance and so much other things. And his commitment to empowering others led him to transition into instructing personal finance and debt management. He told me just now, I'm going to give you the keys on how to get it. We talk about it a lot, but I'm going to let you know how to actually get it. So he's offering his expertise in tax preparation and things along that way. With over 4 decades in the military service, okay, salute to you. His entrepreneurial, he's a vet. So it's not entrepreneurial, but entrepreneurial influence, infuses his ventures and his discipline and, his dedication, all instilled in what he brings today. Through Wealth Builders, Inc., he continues his mission on a guide to individuals toward financial prosperity and serving as a beacon of hope and opportunity for wealth and creation in our communities. Can we please bring Mr. Wacinque up to the stage?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. And, it is absolutely incredible to be properly introduced, which you just did.
It is my honor. It is my honor. It is my honor. With so much to unpack today, I love to start off the interview because I know that you have so much to give to us today. But I love to start off the interview by just letting you give us a little bit of background on who you are, your upbringing, and how do we get the Mr. Wacinque that we're sitting across from today.
Yes. So, of course, everything begins when you just that little one. But when I was growing up, I learned that I was in the 4th generation, just deep in poverty.
Mm-hmm.
The 4th generation. And I learned that my family was held captive in a county in Tennessee called Giles County. Giles County, unfortunately, became the home of the Ku Klux Klan.
Wow.
So you can imagine my family, they weren't so big on talking about the past.
Yeah.
Because there were some pretty horrible days. So I was in church one day, and so the aha moment that launched me on the path I'm on, yes, I was listening to grown folk.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed they were talking about being dead broke. And I'm a little nosy little kid. I didn't understand what that meant,
Mm-hmm.
but it stuck with me. And so I realized that when people don't have enough money to do the things that they need or want or desire to do, they can feel as though it's a kind of death.
Yes.
And so they talked about being dead broke. And that planted the seed for me to say, you know what? I'm going to learn how to help these people I love, to help my family members and the greater community. And so this is what inspired me as a nerdy little kid, becoming a teenager, to study banking and finance. And I was just fortunate, as a part of the program, they required an internship.
Mm-hmm.
The internship was with America's oldest financial planning company. And so the only in between that I skipped through is that, yes, I was a nerdy kid. Math and science was my thing. And then I loved history. But if we want to get a little unique on it,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Gemini.
Okay. So you got two sides to you anyway.
Well, and here's what's crazy. So the elementary school I went from, that very poor neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So they said, well, we need to help the kids learn to read or get excited about reading. So my teacher, my second grade teacher, told me that the Gemini message in the newspaper, she told me that was directly to me. And so, I'm like, I got to read about my message.
Right.
Beautiful about it, people may make fun of the horoscope messages,
Mm-hmm.
but they were all positive. And if
Yeah.
you read them today, they're positive stuff.
Yeah.
And so she knew I would be infused with a positive message,
Yes.
on a frequent basis.
Mm-hmm.
And now this is when I'm telling on myself. Then the next year, the teacher told me the Gemini space program.
Uh-huh.
He said that was also a job lane for me, and I needed to get myself ready. And it was just a stroke of timing. The horoscope had been in the paper a lot, but the Gemini space program was new, and it was the first time that they had two astronauts in one aircraft, hence Gemini. And there was a series of flights, learning some different things we were learning for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And that really solidified my interest in stuff, because I was reading it in the paper, and my teacher was encouraging me to be interested. And so that is the foundation that I'm standing on today.
Listen, and I often talk about just having that positive push from an adult, whether it be a teacher, a parent, a relative, somebody of higher, telling you have it, I see it in you, you could do it, that gives you a certain push, and it fuels your passion to want to do whatever that thing is even more. So from a young age, you say in second grade, and you knew just exactly what your path would lay out to be, and not in the direct detail, but just, I know that I'm interested in this, and I got to know more about this. So that within itself, I think, is special. And even just the understanding level of hearing that conversation with adults and knowing okay, this is something that's not right. This is something that I want to be a part of the change for. And, I want to help my people not have to say these things. That's huge responsibility within itself. So, I think that's special when you're young and you have this special calling of this is what I want to do, and this is what I'm going to do. So how do we, all right, you get this, you get these ideas, you're on the path, you're doing your reading, you get into the internship. Now what? So how do we start to really learn what's happening during this transitional phase?
Well, let me back up for one hot second to give a shout out to government programs.
Yes.
Because we were on welfare and we lived in the projects. And in poverty. So there was a government program, and my mother had not graduated from high school. So there was a government program for young mothers who had not graduated from high school. And she was able to participate in that program and to get a decent paying job.
Yes.
That would not have happened because she didn't, the family didn't have any money to send her to college or anything. So I want to give a shout out to people poo-poo government programs, but it can make a huge difference.
Yes.
And it was a program with women and children. So now I'm getting older and same thing happened again. So CETA was a government program, the Comprehensive Education and Training Act, that helped me get my first job as preteen, 14 years old. And so that was the first time I could have a consistent money to actually open a savings account, which I did. So prior to graduating and then going to college, I wanted to set that tone.
Yeah.
That's what helped me see that it was real, and that if you had a little bit of job and you could, I could actually open an actual savings account, because I was beginning to get that journey that, learning about wealth building was going to be my thing.
Yeah.
And so I was able to do that in high school, as a teenager. And that's very useful. And all the time I was playing sports. So even though I was Urkel on one half of my Gemini self,
best of both worlds.
I was, because I did live in the project, and you see, I'm a pretty happy person today. That's because ain't nobody broke my spirit. No bullies.
Can't break that. You can't break that.
And so I handled my business because I was in the weight room, and so I did both. I did both. But and then, like you're saying, so I joined the service, and so keep in mind I was going to college at night.
Okay.
So I didn't check my genealogy to see if I'm Jamaican or one of them island people, but I must have a little bit of that in me. Because I was juggling. Nobody told me you can't do 10 things at once.
Yeah. You make it happen.
And so, and then to really learn that early, taking a class, banking and finance, and taking an internship on financial planning, when you get that information that early, it's life-changing.
Yeah.
So I didn't go through a period of time where I didn't understand the basics.
Yeah.
And sometimes I have to stop and really realize that how critical that is. But then that drives my passion. Because in my model, the accounts are created. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Prenatal.
That's big.
When the couple discovers that they're pregnant, we start the account then.
Yeah.
And here's why: time value of money. If you add 9 more months to the compounding, it's incredible. So why not maximize that?
Yeah.
And until I put this idea together, we weren't doing that. I mean, when I say we, the average person on the street didn't know, well, let's do it at that stage.
Yeah.
So that should be common action.
Yeah.
And that's what, through this platform, we're going to put out, first in Brooklyn, then all 4 of the borough, and then the rest of the world. Because that needs to be as regular as way I teach it, as air and water.
Yeah.
So I teach, my model is the third element. You have air and you have water for life and thriving. You need financial inclusion.
Yes.
You need to own a wealth building account as the third element.
Yes.
And the atom of that third element is the global permanent investment account itself. That's the core account.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a combination of a savings account and owning dividend stocks.
Mm.
And that's the atom
Right.
of the element financial inclusion, because you need to be a part of the system to benefit from it.
Yes.
You know, that's the basic structure right there. And that has never been how the system has approached
Mm-hmm.
helping.
Mm-hmm.
It's never been.
Yeah. And
And but
I think that, and not to cut you off because I want you
oh no, you good.
to continue to share this information. But I think that everything that you're saying, as far as you adding that as the third element, that's huge. Because just like you said, if we were taught this information with the basic things that we're taught growing up in elementary school and during high school, the advancement of our lives would be totally different. You know, poverty would decrease at a maximum capacity because everybody would know, you know, how to spend and how to, and even in my 30s now, I'm like, you know, I'm a mom. You know, it's different when you're on your own and you just living life, and then when you bring this person into the world, it's like, okay, I got to figure these things out. I have to know that I have this stability. You know, I have to know that I have this emergency fund. I have to know that I have this. I have to have these things in place. But it's also very hard when you're not knowledgeable on which direction to go in. You know, somebody might not even know where to start. You know, you might have the idea of I need to do these things, but I'm overwhelmed with the process of where do I even start? You know, so if somebody comes and, you know, hypothetically, I'm going to give that scenario of I want to start, you know, or I'm thinking about how can I build my wealth, but I have no clue on where to start. What would you, how do you direct them, and what would you, you know, what advice would you tell them on things that they can start implementing right now?
No, exactly. So you create the account.
Mm-hmm.
So the global permanent investment account, it's not my website. It is a government regulated, accessible website.
Mm-hmm.
And you start there. Now, here's the beauty of it. How much money do you think it takes to start?
I have no idea. Is it free?
It's free, zero. Now, remember, you're starting.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like the, you know, where you go to create it.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I'll put the links, you know, we're going to follow through a lot of things, but you create the account online, and it's called a global permanent investment account, but you create that account and you can start with zero when you create the account.
Mm-hmm.
So that shows that it's accessible to every person.
Yeah.
But it gets better. So my company, we help people fund it. You know how you have businesses and they have this concept called seed money?
Yes.
Now here's amazing. Even for rich companies that may want to move from Florida to New York, not the other way, moving from Florida to New York, well, New York may offer them a little, you know, kitty or something to help them out. Well, we help people fund the account. And we're using the classic term, it's seed money. So that makes how accessible and possible this whole new approach will be for them. And then it's like eating an elephant. It's then one person at a time, or 10 or 1,000, as you build momentum. But that's how. And actually, that systems that we're connecting them to is called a transfer agent system. So basically, it's the internet. If you think in terms of how the internet is big, it's the internet of the financial system. and it's called a transfer agent. And the whole world, when you hear about stocks, you can buy stocks around the world. Even though Russia and China, we're fussing with them about different stuff, but you can go online and buy a Russian company right now. You don't like China, but you can buy a Chinese company online because everybody's using that same system.
Right.
And we plug people through information into that system, which is already regulated and allows you to be plugged in. They just never advertise.
Right.
So if I tell you the name of the company, you're not going to ever have heard of it, but it's called Computer Share. This is a financial company that allows you to create an account that you can then buy stocks from. And the company is called Computer Share.
Computer Share.
Computer Share, like the word computer share. And that is, so that's, like tricks in terms of a term that ain't gonna make you think, it's not gonna make you think of anything dealing with finance.
Yeah.
But yet it is the largest of the companies that process buying and selling stocks. It's the largest in the world, and it's actually based out of Australia. But this is, and we use that as an on-ramp. Like when you ask that question, how do you get started? Where do you start? Like taking steps, small steps forward. Yes. And then they have to, and I have to tell people, let it go. Let it go. Why, why didn't the government tell us? Because the government will tell you, oh, you got to use TD Ameritrade. Or you got to use, well, that's a middle person. And that's a fee for what? When you have a direct site,
you go to the direct source. Come on.
Okay. Wow. Now, how many other people you hearing this from? Everybody talking about building wealth, but I see they ain't got no scars on their hand from the construction of actually doing it. Well, I got scars on my hand because I've been in the trench building that foundation. Then I help other people do it. Like, come on in, the water's fine. Let me show you how to do this.
Yeah. No, that's huge. And just like you said, I've heard, people teach financial literacy or, talk about wealth or talk about building wealth or finances, but I've never heard of Computer Share. So it's like, just like you said, you might be teaching me something, but you're sending me around when I can go to the direct source. So that's a gem right there within itself. And that's huge because if I'm learning from somebody, I want to learn what you know. You understand? I don't want it to be like, I feel like some people give you like proportionalized information to where it's like, all right, I'm gonna give you a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but I'm gonna hold on to this because this one is for me. But you're like, no, this is what you're supposed to do. We got to go here, and that within itself makes a huge difference because now I know the source.
Exactly. So. No, exactly, and I forgive them because they may not know.
Yeah.
And so in my journey, initially, I did not know. You know how it is. You go to school and they educate you to tell what they want you to tell. So at first, I only knew what they were telling me to tell.
Yes.
But you know how somebody, I ain't gonna point which direction they're in, but somebody can whisper to you and say, you know what? Look under that blanket and see what's under there. And that's when I learned about the transfer agent system. Yeah. I'm saying to myself, what? They got a system that is, we're talking military grade secure. Because imagine, now we're talking about our whole, when you see on Wall Street, all this information, Bloomberg News, imagine if somebody jacked that up.
Yeah.
Thermonuclear war like you wouldn't believe. So nobody messes with this system. It's the most secure and all of that. Then my mission in life is to plug everybody I know, and they tell everybody else, let's get right into the system directly. You know, because you know that whole adage, if you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah.
Well, I teach everybody how to join them. And you know, the magic is, you know, money while you sleep. See, when you own dividend paying stocks, then you get the whole ocean of activity that lifts your boat while you sleeping. When you hear that the market is rising, that means the value of what you own is rising, and it's rising for you too. So the next time you get a payment, your payment is going to be larger because the multiplier is going against is bigger. Now, to me, this is what everybody should know about. Everybody should know.
Yeah.
And then, you know, now and what happens sometimes, people will tell me, you know, man, if everybody had it, then, you know, it's going to cause this or cause that. I'm saying to myself, do you realize how big this market is? We're talking 30,000 trillion dollars, right? So what's your 10,000, 100,000, million, 2 million going to do against that whole ocean?
Yeah.
It ain't. So you want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. At the end of the day, you want to be a part of it. That way you're sharing in the wealth building that's organically happening.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's that first little step is to actually create the account, and we'll make sure people get to follow up the link to actually create the account. And we start there. And then in like a metronome, you know, happening tick, tick, tick in the background. Well, that is building it. So once you get started, then the rest of the focus is building it. And you referenced that earlier when you said once you are in a part of a system, then you have to make decisions. Where do I put this here and put that? And in the wealth building, do you know the phrase?
What's the phrase?
Wealth building journey? Like once you create the account, and then that first step, you know that phrase?
What's the phrase?
Pay yourself first. That's the first step. So in essence, you're working in a job, you're getting ready to get your paycheck. You pay your wealth building first. It don't matter if it's $1, $2, $10. See, because once you have the habit of paying yourself first, then you have the foundation of the wealth building occurring, and then you take care of all these other things. And then as that's growing, it can help you later. But not if you don't pay yourself first.
Right.
See how this works? It's not like this is rocket science. We just put it into actionable action. You create this account, and then the next time you get some little something, you cut off a little piece and you pay yourself first.
Yeah, that's huge. Because even, and I've had this conversation just last week with a friend of mine who's a business owner as well, and we were just talking about with creating businesses and entrepreneurship, and so you almost don't see the money because it's like, okay, cool, it's coming in, but you got to pay this back, you got to pay that back, you got to, you know, put the money right back out, you got to invest back into this, you got to continue to invest in the business. And you just saying that, you know, pay yourself first is like, and you emphasizing on the amount. It could be a small amount, as you know, $1, $2, you know, whatever it is, and building on that would make a huge difference within it. So my mind is just going as you're talking, and I'm like, you know, that matters in the sense of how am I building on top of still, you know, dishing out and putting out to continue to build and grow, because it takes money to make money, but how am I also building on my wealth personally at the same time? And I think that that's challenging if you don't if you're not aware of the simple things, just as, okay, I should be doing this. I absolutely have to, invest and put back into myself, or I absolutely have to, put money into stocks, or I have to, and I wanted to ask you while you were talking,
Sure.
With okay, so now I'm here and I'm in computer share, and I'm looking at all the different, I'm just imagining how it might look. I pick a stock that I'm interested in, or a business that I'm interested in. Is it as simple, or is it as broad as, I just have the ability to I could just, buy in? Or is it, what way or direction or guide would you give someone when it comes to, like, okay, buying stock or investing in certain businesses? What are some good businesses to invest in? Or, what are some things that might not be so good on the market that you might want to stay away from? Or, because somebody who don't know might just come in and say, oh, okay, this looks good, I'm gonna do this one, and it might not be a great investment. So what would you advise in that sense?
So keep in mind, everything I'm talking about is a foundation building process, right? Now you can, and I'm saying, even if you're sophisticated and you know all this, you still create this on the side as your metronome that you are going to constantly build a habit of. So that means we share with people in this foundation. We use 5 as the goal number of different ones. You can start them one at a time, but we use 5 to keep it, keep it very manageable initially until you get really, on your way in terms of that. Now, that being said, it's usability. So in terms of the industry, they always talk about, brokers gotta assess people for suitability. Is this the right time, the right, all of that is still a regulated approach. But our approach is universal, and usability, universality is as simple as, do you go to the grocery store? So a grocery store, an example, is Walmart. People buy and eat and all this, and that means if grocery stores stop existing, the world's in a world of hurt.
Yeah.
So you buy what you use, and Walmart is a dividend-paying stock, a very well-paying stock. And so think about it. You buying your groceries at Walmart, you buy the stock, and there's all the other people buying it, and it's increasing your wealth. They're giving you a little bit of money that you can spend next time you go to Walmart. So we start with this concept of what you use.
Yes.
And what does everybody use every day?
Yes.
This right here?
Yes.
Everybody uses this every day, right? So I ask people, who's your service provider? T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T, don't matter which one. They are all dividend-paying stocks. Again, you buy the company, you put in money in, they pay you dividends, the stock is rising. In essence, you could get to where they are actually paying your whole bill. You're using a product, and they're paying you the money that you're using to pay your bill.
Yeah.
See how this is a shift in the concept? So the 5 we use is your grocery store like Walmart, your phone like AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile. Then if you have a car and you're using energy, so a gasoline company or like equivalent a utility, these are all companies that pay a dividend that you use. And that is a shift that most people don't experience in how they're guided or taught or or someone shares with them, this is a foundation. Then waste management. So remember, I'm talking 5. Everybody produces trash.
Yes.
Well, guess what? The waste management company is a dividend paying stock company. If you own that company, then you're a part of the circle. And then last but not least, technology. So I use Microsoft as an example. So with those 5 companies, you get this user effect. But not only that, now you're owner. You know what your mind shift is when you own? So let's say you own Microsoft. Well, as an owner, don't you want to know about your company?
Yeah.
The products they have, the Xbox and an Office suite. Imagine the value of learning more about the company you own, and you get better in using those products. Now you may get a promotion on your job because you excelled so much on Copilot, which is Microsoft's AI program, and you excel at being a prompt engineer. And for you young people out there, a prompt engineer, they're paying prompt engineers up to $300,000 a year because that's how valuable the question is that produces a result. A prompt engineer. Well, you gain all of that as a owner of a company that you now have more interest in. And you may be a better recycler because you own waste management. And now you're more efficient. You don't waste as much. All of this is the shift that occurs with the owner's mindset and that foundation. And you're building wealth all at the same time.
That's huge.
It's
That's huge. That's huge. And okay. I thought my mic was muted for a second. That's huge. And even going back on the elements that you just gave, the 5 key things, I just as an average consumer of life every day, I don't think about the waste management, but that industry within itself is huge. Everybody around the world, we use that. We have to use that. So just investing into just like you said, thinking about what you use is opening your mind to so many different concepts of like, okay, how can I almost monopolize or maximize what I'm getting out of this and put it back into my pockets, so that's huge. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, okay, as living in New York, we have so many different so many different waste management, or just I'm just using that as an example, but we have sanitation, we have so many different and I'm like, I wonder how many people that work on these jobs think about this in the aspect of, I'm working here, but I can invest in and putting this back into what I'm building at the same time. Is so huge. And I know that I was just in
yes, you clearly are understanding this approach and how this is a fundamental base building approach that can run alongside. If somebody out there is sophisticated and they're doing stuff already and they're buying, fine. This model is a foundation, and this is what you can share with anyone else that's starting out as an example of, hey, this is how you can get started. And like a metronome that's playing in the background. And then you adjust over time as you learn and get greater insight into being this owner. And this is the shift that, so someone is asking, how much should we start? Every person decides, because it's critical when you're building a base. It does not matter how much you start. You start and then you learn from that action. And then you decide where you want to go from there. But the goal is, if you think in terms of everybody's doing that, then everybody's getting their own insight into what's next. Now, people can have conversations about it, but as a starting point, start and then build up to a point where you feel like, okay, I want to. Now, when I say build up, I'm saying build to where you really see 1,000, 10,000, 50,000. You really see the results of your actions. So you won't hear me say literacy is the starting point. For me, bless you. Literacy, actually having an account, is the starting point. So I'm saying direct experience with the process. Direct experience is the starting point. And then you keep going and going from there. But that is the starting point. And however much that is, it doesn't matter. The habit is more valuable than any amount or stages at this point. And we have a long way to go, though. There's a little over 8 billion people in the world. Over half, 4 billion people, do not have access to the financial system. So that's my mindset. My mindset is to help each person get started.
Yeah.
Get started. Yeah. And then go from, and so can you imagine the difference if everybody owns at a baseline?
Huge. And I was gonna ask, I had as one of the questions, what are some of the misconceptions or myths or misunderstandings that you come across or you might encounter when you're talking to people that we need to kind of get out of our mindset so that we can create these habits that are healthy in the sense of building, as opposed to, breaking us down and thinking that it's not possible? What are some of those things that you would say? And on the other side, the flip side of what we need to change that to become.
Exactly. So it's a mindset that is, and you've heard of the word fear.
Yes.
But are you familiar with it as an acronym?
Break that down for me.
So fear, false evidence appearing real. Okay. And with finance, people will say all kinds of things to me, and I'm like, that just ain't really.
Yeah.
So I'm saying let's do this in small steps, and then let's have the conversation. Show me from the actual action, what concerns you have, not theoretical, because remember, this is a wealth building account that you directly own. You own it. I'm sharing information and I'm sharing usability. You know what you use. So when you think about it, there's not much more you need after that in terms of being able to get started. So this idea that people need so much advice and so much guidance, where did that come from? When you're talking about a process, what I'm talking about, no, you build on. And here's the beauty. AI, when you talk about that kind of technology, AI will be able to tell whoever where to go next, because AI can optimize. So let's say everybody's in Microsoft to the point where it's no longer useful. Then AI will be able to say, Microsoft is full, put more in waste management. See, this is value at this level I'm talking about.
That's
Huge.
yeah. That's,
so now you're not wasting money. You're being very efficient from the technology information. Now you have real guidance, not based on people's opinion or ideas, but based on where the next best dollar goes from the efficiency of the system. That's what I'm seeking to plug. So what I'm plugging people in is this foundation part where we help them get seed money. So, but if you want to take a big picture step back, are you familiar with the fact that Jeff Bezos has gifted individuals a certain amount of money consistent? Are you familiar with that?
No.
Oh, well, Jeff Bezos has given individuals $100 million. No strings attached.
What?
No strings attached. So he's giving it to people like Van Jones, the brother that was was a part of Obama's administration.
Yes.
$100 million. He's giving it to the Hispanic chef that deals with disasters. $100 million. So I think he's up to like about 10 people. Well, in my creative approach to life, I say, let's give to a community. See, Jeff has never done that. So this is what will get his attention. See, you know, people who got everything, they like doing something ain't nobody ever did.
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
So
and that just goes on. We got a question, and I'm gonna let you build on that. But we have a question that says, "Is this teachable on a community easily?" So you saying this, I think that this is going into that question. I was gonna ask this question, but giving it to a community, I'm here. As soon as you said 100 million, I'm like, what's going on here? What's happening? So talk more about that for sure.
Well, and then that's how you get transparent attention.
Yes.
Because remember, all you have to do is give people the website. See, they built it, and the website has employees that help you. So all you have to do is know to go to the website, and if you have questions, you can ask people. It's their job to help you. Now, keep in mind, I'm telling you about foundation stuff that everybody can do that people are not telling you about. You go to this web link, and if you get stuck, you ask the employee whose job is to tell you, and now you have your foundation. So in the meantime, we're coming on programs like this. We're getting noise. We go to Jeff Bezos and we say, Mr. Bezos, you know, you've given $100 million. That's wonderful. Have you considered giving it to a community? Because we would like to use it for seed money to build wealth building accounts among people who may not have the extra money. That's no. People are tight. Things are tight. They may be in debt. Okay, but they give everybody else seed money. So this is a wealth building seed money. He may decide to give it to a community, 100 million. Here's the beauty. The next quarter, when the dividend is paid out, now you're talking that dividend could be $25 million in total. So now the community, without tearing up any buildings, without wasting anything, now they have $25 million in their pocket to use however they want.
Yeah.
From this concept of usability as the model. So we're really introducing something totally new in the concept. And so you can imagine from there to there, you know, and the goal is to get, my goal is like $5 to $10 trillion transferred in helping people. And it's never been done. And that will have an appeal. Plus, it's a gift that keeps on giving. Because remember, the principle remains permanent. So you grow the principle, and that grows the income. So you keep growing the principle, and you're growing the income
at the same time.
Right. And so this becomes a continuous loop system. And remember, now I'm talking one model. People can keep doing all these other things, but we're introducing a new, because I'm an economic king. So economic king is going to want to share an economic program
Yes.
with the people.
Yes.
And not only that, I'm thinking of a new phrase for the economic kings or for the king. For the kings will be KPE. That means they're kings, pharaohs, and emperors. KPE. Here's why. We want to leave a legacy. How long have those pyramids been there? Thousands of years.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. This model will be the equivalent of our pyramid.
I like
born
that.
in Brooklyn to change the world. This is a sustainable, doable model that has never been presented as a way to deal with the challenges of wealth and so forth. So you feeling it?
No,
and the structure is already there. So what I learned is I have the ability to see things a little differently. Here's the structure's there, but no one ever thought of this. I see it slightly different, and this is what we do. And it doesn't. You start with one person. When you create the account for your kid, you create the account for yourself. And then we just keep spreading it from there. Yeah. And you're right. Initially, it's like a newborn baby. It's not going to be nothing to write home about at first, but give it time.
Somewhere, yeah, you have to start somewhere, and just that idea within itself on the community base is huge. We got another question coming in from Juneteenth. It says, what can we do on today's for tomorrow, and where can we start as a community?
Creating the account. Each one pass on the information. You create the account, and that becomes, and then you begin to measure. So like in terms of, you have to report to somebody. You can report the number of accounts created. You can report how much is in the accounts, like an aggregate, $5,000, so forth. And then how much does it earn? So those three things are huge. Number of accounts created, how much value principal is in the account, and how much does it earn? And then you grow it. You keep growing it. And imagine, income for generations. So the inspiration for this is the Freedman's Bank. This is June.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So how many people know that the Freedman's Bank existed with emancipation? How many people know that at the height we had $57 million in the bank? Now, it got stolen. So that's something else to deal with. But let's focus on the positive, element in reviving the financial empowerment, leveraging AI to bring wealth building to the Freedman's Bank concept. So now we have a concept, right? It's online now. Well, I partnered with University of Michigan to answer the question, what if those accounts had kept earning from the market system? The real numbers, like each year, the Dow was created in 1896. We know those numbers back and forth. Cowler's shares were created before that. But here's the answer. So in 1874, each account based on the 57 million and the number of people was $1,000. So the question was simply, we didn't add no more money. We just let it compound. Are you sitting down here? Each person would have $250 million based on the model we're talking about. Yeah. And how do we know this? The Dow was $1 of value in 1896. It's $40,000 today. So when people say no, that's real numbers. Yeah. A real effect. And you know how many people are millionaires and and billionaires with this market.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I mean, it's way more than, it's a lot of people. Well, that's because remember, you ever see the term lost, the money was lost?
Yes.
Completely ignore that. Money is never lost. It changes hands.
Mm.
It never lost. And if the government, if the dollar bill gets old and worn out, they burn it and replace it. Wow. They burn it and replace it. So what I'm talking about is a whole new way of looking at things. So, money, it changes hands.
Changes hands. I like that. Money,
it changes hands.
Changes
and it's in a lot of people's hands, and it could be in more people's hand with a model like this. And I believe that people think sometimes wealthy people will never. I believe that they will get behind the right model to help people build their accounts. So the total number is total wealth that you can reach, not building wealth, not building, but buildings, properties and all that, not that wealth. I'm talking about you can get to the money, is $160 trillion today in the US. The population is 350 million people. If you divide 350 million into 160 trillion, you get 400,000+ per person. We're talking every single person. If every person had 400,000 and they were earning just 10%, they would make 40,000 in income.
Yeah.
Every person. We're talking a brand new baby who don't need it. So that money would just keep going. They would save the money and keep building it. So think about this system. It's system, right? And then when you're dying, you can't take it with you. So you put it back into the system. See, this is a mindset approach that has never been presented as a way to do things. And we have the transfer agent systems like the internet to be able to do this. All we needed was a change of the mindset and to be shown the steps.
Yeah.
So this is where we're the vision. Now, initially we ain't gonna have no, but you can. I want to see how far we can get. How far can we get? Is it if Jeff Bezos will he give us $100 million to demonstrate?
Come on.
Okay, there are 3,000 billionaires. We're gonna ask every last one of them. 3,000 billionaires.
Yeah.
Who if they gave 100 million, that ain't even nothing to them. Nothing. But imagine the change it has on the lives of those people.
Yes.
And then you build on that. Then you just start. And then the next goal is 1,000. Next goal is 10,000 in your account. Next goal is 100,000 in your account.
Listen, this is a conversation that is ongoing, that has to remain, and not just conversational, but the action behind it, and your plan and the things that you implement through your program and that you help provide is essential in us building and starting. Let me just say that, and starting, you could start from exactly where you are. If I take away from anything today is to start where you are and to start where you are. Start now. And I want to, time goes so fast. I didn't even realize we're almost at the end and we got to wrap it up. But I want to just give us our last takeaway. I want you to give us our last takeaway on today with, and I feel like you said it, but let's just reiterate it one more time. What is the takeaway that you want everybody to leave this session with today?
We're going to get you that website. So you can create the account. It costs nothing to do that.
Yes.
And then you can say, you know what? I've started. I've taken a step. That's the beauty. Yeah. And that frame, military grade secure, it's highly regulated. We just didn't know what you didn't know. But now we know. Now we know. And it's coming from Economic King 2024. Who better to bring it?
Come on. Let me ask you, as we close the session today, what does Juneteenth mean to you?
And Juneteenth is the start of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Freedom and the ability to create fiscal freedom. Get your money right. That's what
Yes.
Juneteenth means to be. Then, today and tomorrow, getting your fiscal freedom right. Juneteenth.
Come on. Come on. I'm here for it. I'm going to give you a chance to share all of your information and all of that prior to us ending this call. Just a few announcements. All of our vendors that might be on this call right now, first and foremost, I hope you're taking away so many key points, but this is the last call for you to join us for the Juneteenth festival. Okay, you can get your money right, get your business right. Come on over and promote yourself, promote your business, showcase everything that you have. We have a last call, and that is extended to this Friday. Okay, so if you didn't tomorrow, if you didn't already, join in on your last chance to become a vendor. Juneteenth is approaching so fastly, and we have so many things in store for you guys. Day one, on June 13th, we have the Black Kings event where we celebrate the impactful men in NYC at the this prestigious award ceremony. June 14th, we have the restaurant crawl where we will be around the city with so many different Black-owned restaurants. June 15th is our free festival and our parade. Make sure you go to our website, Juneteenth NY, and you register, okay, and come out and enjoy a full day of culture, entertainment, fun, vendors, fashion, performances. It's going to be a day that you do not want to miss. And last but not least, day 4 is actually on Juneteenth, where we have the virtual summit where I am hosting with a realm of so many amazing Black entrepreneurs, business owners, and people that you need to hear from. So tap in with us for all of those things. Like I said, go to JuneteenthNY.com, follow us on our social media, and stay up to date with everything that we have going on. And that wraps up my announcements for today. Wacinque, please tell them all of your information, where they could follow you, where they could tap in, where they could, begin to build this wealth at Wealth Builders Inc. with you, all of that. Tell them where they could contact you.
I am the only Wacinque in the world. So whatever the platform you put in Wacinque, WACINQUE, you will get me. And the name of my company is Kaizen Rhino, KAIZEN RHINO, as one word. It's the only company in the world. And that's how you can connect with me. You can get my email, LinkedIn, all of those, Facebook, Wacinque, or Kaizen Rhino, the name of the company.
Gotcha.
And then I can start sharing with you the link, and we can get started and start taking those steps.
Yes. Let's do it. It's scrolling across your screen right there at the bottom. Make sure you tap in with this king right here so he can get us started on all that we need to do. It has been an honor and a pleasure sitting here with you today. Thank you for all the insight and information that you gave. I will be tapping in, okay? So I'll make sure I follow you. I'll make sure we connect. Make sure if you're on this call, you tap in with me as well. Follow me on everything at Forever MBG, forevermbg.com, and make sure you visit my business at I Had a Praying Grandmother and IHadAPrayingGrandmother.shop. It's always a fun time. I feel like this hour goes by so fast, but until next time, you're welcome to come back anytime.
Yes, we plan to do a series.
Yes, let's do it.
Yeah, this is not a one shot.
Let's do it.
This is a series.
Yeah.
And Rome wasn't built in a day.
Come on.
It's not going to change that ship overnight.
Yeah.
But we can get everybody started.
Yes. Well, today was day 1. Get it started, okay? And get on that website, Computer Share. Get in there. He gave us all the links. And if you need to watch it over. Make sure you write it down and you get to it. Watch it over. Time. Until next time. But like I said, brother, I appreciate you. And we out of here. We love y'all.
Out of here. See you on the 13th.
Yes.
King's dinner.
What's going on, Juneteenth family?
I have to take the lead because if I don't now, when will I do it?
These are all dance groups. Mixes from since 90.
And risks are important. Risk creates results.
Make sure that you surround yourself with not only the word, but with positivity.
Foremost, for having me on for Lunch and Learn.
We start off by wearing all of the hats. Pun intended right there on the hats. But we start
Special needs children and civilians. I have over 30 years plus experience as a quality professional.
We basically reconstructing what we took part in deconstruct. All of street maintenance. That's how we came up with street maintenance.
I almost had to deal with MCA Records at the age of 19.
wait a minute.
I also partner with other daycare. We're not in a competition yet. We're not in a competition.